everybody, and welcome to your Astronomy 1103 lab course here at Randolph College. Now, there is an associated lecture, which you may or may not be in, just depends on what you signed up for. Just be aware there is one. Okay, so let's go through here a little bit. So, this class is run through our Moodle system, and the way you can get into it is you can type moodle.randolphcollege.edu, as you can see up here. And then you log in with your Randolph College credentials. So you have a Randolph College email. And if you don't know what that is, you should call Randolph College, right? That's 434-947-8000 and ask for the IT help desk. But let's say you know it. And so if you have your Randolph email, the way you log into Moodle is you put that first part of the email right before the @ symbol. That's your username. And then your Randolph College user password, and you should be able to get into Moodle and see this course. Okay. All right. So let's just go through a little bit about how the course works. All right. So this course is what we call asynchronous, except for, oh, there's way too many copies of announcements here. I'll get rid of them. So except for the fact that there are deadlines. Okay. But asynchronous means that you do not have to sit on Zoom at any point with me in class or anything, right? So you are working on your own, but be aware there are deadlines. Some asynchronous courses have no deadlines. You're just supposed to finish everything by the end of the course, right? But we do have some deadlines to kind of keep you on track. And that's what this calendar is all about, okay? So in general, the labs, we have 9 labs. And in general, the labs have a structure where there's a day to suggest that you get started. That's on the green, right? Just to give yourself some time. And then there's usually pre-labs as well. So for instance, lab 1 doesn't have a pre-lab, but lab 2 does have a pre-lab, right? To do before the day in which you are suggested, right? To get started. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. Remember, you don't have to do the labs on these days, but you should at least take a look, right? Because it could be longer than you might think, and then you don't want to run out of time. And then in red are when these things are due. Okay. So for instance, lab 1, it's just what we call informal. It's just a quiz, right? Or it's a paper to fill out. We don't really write formal lab reports in here. When it says formal, you'll see what I mean. It's much more about you fill out something, okay? But it's not a formal lab report like you might have had in chemistry or something, okay? But you get the picture once you start doing the labs. Anyway, so in red are the deadlines for actually turning in the work that needs to be done for the lab, whatever that might be. So hopefully you give yourself enough time. That's what these green things are for, to give you a suggested timeline, right? Um, and as you can see, you have pre-labs for pretty much every lab except for the first one. Okay. So class starts on this day, but you feel free to start this lab on the first day, right? Or get yourself acclimated maybe to the lecture if you're in the lecture class. Okay, so let's take a look at what it looks like. So first I'll show you that I have office hours. You can contact me via text is really the best. You can email me, of course. But text is probably the fastest way to get a hold of me. Even if I'm in a meeting somewhere, I can respond quickly to a text. Now, if you text me at 11 p.m., I'm not going to get back to you right away, most likely, unless I'm up late working. I tend to go to bed early and get up early. So just FYI on that. So don't get upset if you don't see a text right back from me if you texted me late. But feel free to text me and ask any questions. Okay. So let's just take a look. So the suggested day to complete the lab is always on here, but you can look at that schedule. So this is the first lab. And you can see it's basically a bunch of kind of activities that you need to complete. Okay. When it has a little thing like this, that means that you're going to be doing something and then uploading a photo or a scan or something, right? And then sometimes there are quizzes like this one. Means little quiz. Okay. There's a questions forum that you can post. This is really for you and the other students in the classes. I don't really keep track of that. If you want to ask me questions, you text me or email me, etc. But it's often good for students to talk to each other. So that's where this comes in. Okay. And then, this just goes on. Every lab is a little bit different. Now, you will be getting a lab kit. Okay. And I hope that Dr. Sheldon, who's the head of our department, has contacted you to make sure that your address is correct, because you will be getting a lab kit, excuse me, that you won't need for a little while in the lab. Okay. But if you don't get that relatively soon, within the next couple of weeks, like 2 weeks, please email me, okay? Because something might have gone wrong. Okay, but you don't need it for a little bit. So a lot of times this is working through like there's a manual, what to do, there's a pre-activity, and there's a formal lab. Again, formal lab is in this case answering the questions on the last 4 pages of your lab manual. It's not like a full write-up as you might expect. Okay. Now, there's one thing that's kind of different here, and that is that there's a moon observing project. Okay. Now, it says start now, which means you should start like as soon as you get access to this class. You should look at this. This has like a little video about it, and you should print out what you need to print out, and you should be observing the moon every night. So that's what this is all about. Okay. And it's not due until the very last day of our class. All right. But if you ignore it, you're not going to get it done, right? Because you need to be observing every night. So this is something that you really need to do. Now, yes, you might have clouds, but you'll be noting that, etc. Okay. You might not be able to see the moon. So get started on that project right away. So the first thing you should do when you come into this class is go look at that first and then go back and look at your lab too. Okay. Maybe those first 2 days of class is a good idea to make sure you know what you're doing on this. And then, the labs go on as usual. Okay. Nothing too complicated about this. Okay. Again, we only have 9. All right. Well, I hope that you have fun in this class. And again, make sure to let me know within the next 2 weeks if you don't get or next week or so, maybe, get your lab kit. And yeah, well, I hope you enjoy the class and we'll talk to you soon.